My name is Angela.
My name is Nicole.
And welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Hello, Stitchers.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to another amazing episode of the Ominous Stitch podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. How are you guys doing? How was your week?
Oh my gosh, summer is pretty much almost over, right?
Summertime.
Except here, because it's hot until like November. So.
Yeah. Fall doesn't really happen until it's winter.
We don't even get fall. Yeah. We get maybe a week.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite.
I love fall.
Season.
Favorite season,
yeah.
Me too. Everything in our family happens in the fall. All of our birthdays are in the fall.
That's right.
Technically, 2 of them are in summer. So I have one at the end of August. My youngest is at the end of August, and then my son is mid-September.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else is in fall. But
that's crazy.
You know, it
all
feels
happens.
like everybody's in
and
fall
Halloween.
because it's all and Halloween, our favorite holiday.
I love it. Yeah, but it's almost over. So enjoy if you did. If you didn't, that's cool because it's hot.
Yeah, it stays hot. I remember when my oldest was a baby and we wanted to do the obligatory like pumpkin patch picture for Halloween. And she was almost 1 and she was like, because her birthday's in December.
Yeah.
So, end of October, almost 1.
Yeah.
Because math. #cause math. So we went to this wonderful pumpkin patch over by where we used to live. And it's gorgeous. They have this big fall festival there.
Mm.
And we had her set up with a bunch of pumpkins. And I had her dressed up in these cute little overalls and this long sleeve kind of fall shirt. And we had a prop. She could stand, but she wasn't really walking. So we would prop her up against a pumpkin and let her just kind of hold on to it.
Love it.
And it was like 100 degrees outside. It was so hot. And she's in long sleeves and long pants because it's like you want that cute fall picture. Yeah. You don't want her in shorts and a t-shirt.
It's not summer.
And my husband was like, come on, really? And I was like, yeah, we need the cute picture. And I stopped trying to do the cute pictures after that because she was so uncomfortable. She was like,
oh, poor baby.
So we changed her and they're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. Get your picture. That's funny. Well,
it's not worth it for the picture, people.
It's not. You think so at the time, though.
Yeah, when you're a new mom and you want the perfect picture.
You want everything, right?
Yeah, and then once you have another one, you're like, nah, screw it.
I'm tired.
Real life is way better than what you portray in photographs.
Seriously,
it's so much more fun.
Yeah,
because then you can see the memory happening at that moment.
And you
know exactly how they're feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's way more fun that way.
I love it.
Yay!
Well, what's got you in stitches?
Oh, guys, I have jury duty this next week. Yay, jury duty. So I don't know how they do it in other states, but in California, you don't know if you have to report to the courthouse until the night before. And
they call you, right?
You call them.
That's right.
At
I remember that.
7 p.m. So you can call from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. to find out if you have to report to the courthouse or not. And I'm like, I have kids, so like, how do you handle that? I have grandparents on call. I'm like, I might be calling you tonight to tell you, hey, come hang out with my kids, and they have school, and it's like, oh my gosh, why? This is like the worst week. Why can't you call me in for jury duty?
Because that's how it works.
Over the summertime, you have to do it. And by the way, they're doing it the week my kids start school.
Yay! So it's not chaotic enough.
Yeah. So I have 2 that are going back to elementary school, but one is starting junior high, and I have jury duty the same week that she starts junior high.
Well, hopefully you don't.
Hopefully, knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
That, I just call in and they tell me that I'm not needed for the entire week. Or I go in on Monday, I report to the courthouse because they don't have school on Monday. Yeah. I report to the courthouse on Monday. I spend however many hours they want me there, and then they release me and I'm done with jury duty.
Either one. I hope for the first, the former.
Right. Yeah. Where I go in on Monday and then that's it.
No. I hope that they just don't need you at all.
Oh, that I have to call every night and anticipate like being on call every night for a week? Call you and be
like, you're done. Because that happened to me. I if I can recall, I got jury duty not too long after I moved to California. Mm-hmm. And I called and they were saying, oh, we don't need to come in. And it was like the first or second phone call I had to call.
Oh, but you call every day for a week, though.
No.
Did you not call the rest of the week?
No.
They said you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
Your jury duty is done. Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's never happened to me.
Oh.
I've
I got lucky, I guess.
So this is my 4th time, I think, calling it for jury duty. So this is what happens. I think they say this is not what happens, but every time you move, and we moved a year ago, guys.
Oh no.
Your name kind of goes back up. So
it's like it's like Hunger Games.
No, it's not like Hunger Games.
It was tribute.
Yeah.
No.
But no, I've only had to report to the courthouse once. And luckily it was a courthouse that was close by where I live. And this one is also going to be close by because we're in LA County. It could be any courthouse in Los Angeles. And I think the last time my husband had jury duty, he had to go to a courthouse far away.
No.
This one's pretty close
to
where we live.
Good,
it's about 20 minutes. It's not that far. So that's at least good. And if I report there, but I learned that I can't bring my crochet with me because hooks are considered dangerous. I could stab somebody with it.
With a crochet needle.
Yeah. So I was so bummed because I was so going to bring my bag and just crochet.
And just crochet the whole time. You have time to do it.
They make you watch a video and then you have to take a test after the video, but they're like, you can't bring, well, it doesn't specifically say crochet hooks, but it says knitting needles. So I'm like, okay, that's probably going to include hooks. I shouldn't bring them because I don't want to risk it and have them take them.
Yeah.
But man, I was like, dude, really?
Yeah, that's messed up.
Because now what am I going to do the whole time? Play on my phone. I'll take a book. I'll read a book.
Oh, read a book?
Read a book.
Jury Duty. You have to watch it on Amazon.
Oh, yes. Nicole was telling me about this show. I
so
watched
good.
part of the first episode, I think. But so just
it's
quickly
so good.
set it up.
It's on Amazon if you have Amazon Prime, and I'm not going to give it anyway. My husband's like, you got to watch this. He watched it and then he made me watch it with him, and it's so good. So it's funny. It's a reality show where this guy thinks he's doing jury duty, and there's a documentary on jury duty, but really he's the only one that doesn't know that everybody around him is acting, including the judges and the
bailiffs.
Yes,
and,
everybody. And it's so good because just a little glimpse. He's just so pure of heart.
Oh,
it's a feel-good show.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I gotta give that to you. So,
do you remember years ago in the 90s they did that with like a dating show? I think it was a dating show. I think they called it Joe Schmo. Maybe it wasn't a dating show, but it was like some kind of reality show where everybody was an actor except for this one person, and they were putting him through challenges, and everybody was acting and reacting, and he had such a pure heart that the entire cast was like, no, we want to like rewrite the show, because they were getting pages every day of what they needed to do to get reactions out of the Joe Schmo. And he was so sweet and so pure of heart that they were like, I can't do that. I can't be mean. I can't do that to him anymore. And so they kind of like changed the whole concept because he was just such a sweet, kind-hearted person. Isn't that nice?
That's so sweet.
Yeah. I was like in the 90s, so of course everybody was like nasty in the 90s.
They were
early
so
2000s,
into they're so into that reality that you have to be mean to get ratings.
Yeah,
be like catty.
2000s,
I hated
early
that.
2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah. Well, boom.
Oh, so funny.
But anyway, yeah, Jury Duty, watch it.
Yeah, okay,
so hopefully that'll get you like into it.
Yeah.
So maybe you're on a reality show.
I'm hoping that I don't
get
get called in, or if I get called in, I don't have to actually go into a courtroom. Knock on wood, every time I've gone, I haven't been called into the courtroom. I've been dismissed before getting to that part. So hopefully I don't get to that part, because my husband got to that part one time, but then he was chosen as an alternate, which meant that he had to stay.
No!
But then they dismissed the case and he got to go home. So yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully,
good luck.
Yes,
thank
wood. You. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Knocking on my head. Knock, knock, knock on wood. I think I better knock, knock, knock on wood. My dog is staring at me like, ooh, I like that song. Such a fan favorite on the podcast. Yay, Rose Dog. So, Nicole, what's got you in stitches?
What's got me in stitches is that it's hilarious to me that I love horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Every horror movie, even those dumb ones, I'll still rate it a -1, but I watched it all, right? I watched it all. I'll watch it just because I need to watch it, and I'll watch a horror movie. What I can't handle for some reason are the weird dramas, like shows and movies. So, for example, my husband's he's like, you got to watch this show with me. And it's called Hijacked. It's on Apple TV, because the reason why we have Apple TV is because of Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
I love that show. So we have it just because of that. So we got in it. It's Idris Elba.
Yeah, I love Idris Elba.
He's awesome. And I can't handle it because it's just so much tension. Like, because it's about a hijacking of a plane. Okay. And he's on this plane. I can't watch it. I don't like it. And my husband doesn't know this, but I'll watch it with him. It's gotten not that great. It's kind of doing okay. But I just get so anxious.
Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know why. Why can't I watch
real Nicole?
I know.
It's TV.
But I love horror movies.
They're not really on a plane.
I know.
Oh, that's funny because you can disassociate the horror and the trauma that's happening to people.
I love scary, but I can't handle
But if it's a drama, if it seems somewhat based in reality, you're like, no, it's too real.
Exactly. Like
the
whole
funny.
like they're on the plane and they're getting hijacked and it's like people and they're freaking out and I'm like, I'm stressed out and I can't do it.
You got to breathe.
Yeah.
That's like me and watching people doing anything in the water. I can't breathe until they can surface.
There
and
you
breathe.
go.
Yeah.
So what is that? Why do I love horror movies where there's jump scares right around the corner and I cover my eyes with popcorn buckets? But I can't watch a drama because I just can't like it's not even like stomaching it.
Here's what I think. Because horror movies are mostly predictable.
Sure.
You know there's going to be a jump scare around the corner. You know things are going to go silent and dark and they're going to build up tension, but then there's going to be a predictable release.
Sure.
You know people are going to die. You know that the bad guy is usually going to get it in the end, or there will be some resolution
twist,
that
maybe.
makes sense.
Yeah.
In a hijacking situation or in that reality TV situation, you have no idea because there's no kind of formula for it.
Sure.
There's no concept for it. So,
you don't know what's going to happen.
People are unpredictable.
Yep.
So you don't know what's going to happen.
So I don't like so you're saying I don't like people, which is true. But I love horror elements. Like I'll walk up to La Llorona, but I won't walk up to
because you know La Llorona's MO. You know what she's after, you know what she's going to do.
But she's good. She's after my kids. And I'd rather watch her than...
Yeah, because you know what she's after. You know what she's going to do. You have no idea what a hijacker is going to do.
Yeah. So another example is like the show 24. Do you remember that show?
Yeah. I used to watch it.
Yeah. My hubs loves that one. I don't like that show.
Because
it's drama.
It's drama and you don't know what's going to happen in this 24
and it's
hours.
boring though sometimes.
Because it's the full hour. You're watching a full hour of this 24 hours. So much happens in that 24-hour period, but yet so much of it is boring.
Exactly.
And I'm like, do they sleep? When do they go to the bathroom?
When do they eat?
Yeah, that's what I watch for when I used to watch 24.
Yep.
My other thing is I'm like, they're in the same costume for the entire season. They're in the same outfit. Most of them, they don't change clothes because it's a 24-hour day. They usually wear one outfit for that 24-hour period. And I'm like, how does their weight not fluctuate? Do you ever do that? I'm like, because I'm watching this. It's obviously they're shooting it because it's 24 episodes, so it's a long shooting season that they're doing that. And I'm like, how do they stay the same size? Because I can't do that.
No,
I haven't
but
mastered
even
that.
daily, your body's going to fluctuate depending on what you're eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So how do you look the same?
I don't know. How do you look the same?
I love it.
I feel like I would need like 5 sizes of the same outfit, and of one of those I would fit in at one day. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's funny.
But anyway, there you go. I love horror movies.
You love the horror movies.
I hate drama.
And hate the dramas.
Yep. Not my favorite. So there you go.
A little insight into Nicole, one of her little peculiarities.
I was just like thinking about it though the other day. I was really dwelling on it. I'm like, why does it feel like I can't sit through things when I can sit through others that are just seem more morbid or,
Yeah.
So maybe I just like morbid more.
I think it's a predictability thing.
Yeah.
Like what the bad guy's after in the horror movies.
But even there's some that are really twisty that I love,
Yeah.
Stephen King books are the best in that example. I don't know. Anyway, there you go, guys.
I don't know. Interesting.
You tell me what you think of Hijacked if you have Apple TV, though, everybody.
Yeah.
So.
You can email us at theominousstitch@gmail.com. Let Nicole know what you're thinking about Hijacked. Do you find it as disturbing as she does, or are you disturbed by horror? Horror.
We're going to get into horror soon. Not horror, but pretty spooky stuff today.
Yeah. Our topic today is urban legends, yeah?
Urban legends that turn out to be true.
Ooh.
Yes, you're going to love it. But it's a really long one, so I'd say we should get stitching.
Okay, let's get stitching. Okay, Stitchers. So I'm going to try to keep this quick because I know Nicole is anxious and super excited to get into her urban legends, and so am I.
Yay!
And I feel like I just talked so much in that last episode. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about today is cabling. So I have done many different cabling projects. In fact, one of my very first projects is this beautiful Celtic cable blanket that I made for my son.
That's right. It's beautiful.
You guys have seen parts of it because it also has the Celtic weave on it. But then that was the first big cabling project I did. And
it's really cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. But Nicole has been like, how do you cable? I don't understand it. It's been something that she's been talking about for a while.
Yep.
And I'm working on this one blanket that has this really nice little diamond pattern that is cabling. And I was like, oh, this would be an easy introduction into cabling. So I'm going to tell you guys just a little bit about cabling and how you do it. It's actually not as complicated as what it seems because it's just front post stitches. So most of the time it's going to be a front post treble crochet.
No, you got to tell me what a treble is again.
So a treble is when you yarn over twice before you insert your hook. Okay. So you're going to wrap the yarn around your hook twice. And then you're going to find the stitch that you're going to do the stitch around. Okay. So you're going to front post. So that means you're pulling that stitch to the front. And then you're going to front post. So you're going to stick your hook behind it, bring that stitch to the front, grab a loop, pull it up. And then you're going to yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two.
Okay.
That's a treble. So you're yarning over and pulling recently, through
and I was like,
three
what is that?
times.
3 times. Okay.
Instead of 2. Double is 2.
Treble's 3. Like
treble
triple.
Is 3. Like triple.
Why didn't they just call it triple?
I don't know. Treble.
Okay.
The troublemakers.
It is.
Yes. So that's basically what you do when you're cabling. You're just pulling a stitch up and then you're making like usually a treble crochet, sometimes a double, depending on how long you want your stitch to be or where you're finishing it. And you're bringing it up to the height of the row that you're working on. So you're going to dive down a row. Now, these are all worked on one side. This is a one-sided pattern.
Okay.
Right? So you're bringing stitches to the front. So it does have a side that you're doing the cabling, and then you have a return side.
So when you call it the wrong side,
the
right?
wrong side.
I hate that.
I'll call it a return.
Oh, good.
So,
I like that better.
Yeah. So to me, it's like a typewriter, right? So you're writing on the one side. So you're doing the cabling on one side. This pattern is a diamond shape. So basically what you're doing is it starts off with like a row of half double crochets, and that's going to be the row that you return back to is the row of half double crochets.
Okay.
So you're going to do a row of half double crochets on the right side.
On the right side.
And then on the return side or the wrong side, it's a row of double crochets.
Got it.
So just a row of double crochets. Now, the next row is the row that you start your cabling pattern. So you're going to dive back down, not on the double crochet row, but on the half double crochet row. So 2 rows below.
Got it.
You're going to find a stitch that is told to you in your pattern. So for me, it was the 4th half double in. So I have to count 4 half double crochets in.
Okay.
And then I'm going to work a treble around that. But before I do the treble, I had to do some single crochets. So you're either doing single crochets on your cable row or you're doing treble crochets for this pattern. You're going to follow whatever your pattern instructions are. But so for me, I did 3. Is it 3? We'll say 3. It could be 2. Whatever. I did X amount of single crochets before I did my first treble. And what I do is I go back down 2 rows, do a front post treble crochet around that half double crochet, bring it back up to the row that I was on. Okay. I'm going to skip the stitch behind that. So if I single crocheted in the first 2 stitches, I will skip that third stitch from the row below. That was our half doubles that I'm single crocheting into.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to single crochet, I think this pattern says 3 times before I do my next.
Oh, so that you can keep it going.
Yeah, so I can keep it going. And then I'm going to go back, depending upon your pattern. And for this diamond shape, I'm going to go back to that half double that I did my first treble crochet into.
Okay.
And I'm going to do another treble crochet. But this stitch is going to be different because it's going to be a treble crochet 2 together. Which don't panic.
I'm panicking.
Don't panic. It's basically a decrease stitch, if that makes sense. So it's like putting 2 into 1 stitch.
Yeah.
So the way that this works is that for my first treble crochet, I'm going to wrap my yarn over twice, go back to that half double crochet that I did the first treble crochet in, do a front post treble, but I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, stop.
Don't do anything. Okay.
Don't finish that treble crochet. Then you're going to yarn over twice onto your hook. And then you're going to go back down to that half double crochet row and move over however many half double crochets it tells you to. So I'm going to count over 4.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do a front post treble crochet around that one. So then I will pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I will have 3 loops on my hook at that point.
You've got a lot.
Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops.
Okay.
And that is finishing both of those treble crochets, and they finish together with one stitch on top. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then you have this kind of like
V almost
upside down V.
Yeah.
Or a pyramid.
Yeah.
Right. And then you skip the stitch that's behind that on the row that you were working, and then you single crochet in the next 3, and then you keep doing those trebles together all the way down. And then when you get to the end, you're on your return row. So then you're going to double crochet your way back. Now, a little trick that I learned that I didn't do on this blanket because there weren't that many cables, but something that you'll notice is that there's a stitch that you skip on each one of those rows. And I'm pulling one out for Nicole so she can see. So one thing that you can do is when you're doing your double crochet on the return back is you can pick up one of those loops so it closes that little pocket so you don't have this pocket anymore.
You can store things in that pocket.
You can store things in the pocket.
No, I'm just kidding.
But on the skip stitches, feel free to pick up one of those loops to close that off. And so you're crocheting through 3 loops instead of 2.
So that you're not having pockets.
Yeah, so you're not having pockets.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so you're on your return row, half double crochet all the way back. And then you're going to follow whatever the stitch pattern is. But once you've established your cabling row, your first row of establishment, most of the time you're going to be hooking the next rows of cables around the cable that you already made. So she can see when I'm doing my 2 trebles together on my next cable row, I'm hooking around the cables that I already made, the treble crochets that I already made before. Yeah.
It makes this little diamond pattern.
This little diamond on it. Yeah. But I mean, that's cabling in a nutshell.
I'm going to have to do it with you. You got to practice.
Treble crocheting is the new stitch to really learn because you do that because it will bring it back up to height because you're diving down so far.
Right.
And it brings it back up to like a single crochet height. And then you just follow whatever the pattern tells you, whatever stitches you want to hook it around.
You make it so easy.
And then you always have a return row.
You make it sound easy.
If I read this on first time,
I was gonna say if I read this pattern, I would die.
Yeah, especially if you're looking at the chart.
Yes,
it can be a little intimidating on the chart.
That.
But you know, once you start doing it and you get into it, it's really not that bad because it's double crochets or treble crochets, which you already understand what those are. And you're only working those on the right side so you can see exactly where you're placing them.
Right.
And how you want, depending upon however many single crochets you crochet over in your working row, it will direct the slant of that cable. That makes sense. Yeah. And then you do little tricks like do 2 together, or sometimes you'll make branches and, you know, make them V the other way.
That's so cool.
It's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to go through it. And don't let me forget to take a picture.
Okay. I'm going to take a picture of the diamonds.
That's so pretty. She made this. She's making her blanket. It's about, I'd say a foot now in width.
Yeah.
Right?
So I've gone through all of the rows. So this is an Annie's Knit Club.
Yeah.
Or Annie's Crochet Club blanket. And it's a study of textures. So I've gone through all of the textures that you have in there. And now I'm repeating the rows.
So cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it to turn out.
Me too. Gotta keep working on it. But that's it for stitch time. I'm so ready for story time.
Well, thanks for showing me cable.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad I showed it to you.
And now, story time.
It's story time.
As we mentioned, we are going into spooky urban legends that turned out to be true.
Ooh.
Now, the term urban legend originated in the mid-20th century based on quote unquote too good to be true stories that are passed around through oral accounts. It was popularized when Jan Harold Brunvand released his publication, The Vanishing Hitchhiker, American Urban Legends and Their Meanings. This book referred to one of the most well-known urban legends where someone is driving a car and meets the mysterious hitchhiker who vanishes after being picked up. Remember we talked about this a lot in our road
trips. Yeah, that there were a lot of
many of those
where that happens. Yeah.
Yes. So that was kind of where the urban legends originated. But what if an urban legend passed around and around actually stems from an actual event, location, or person?
That makes it so much scarier because then you're like, I'm going to research it. And then it's there. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes. I have quite a few today. So we're going to dive into the true stories that were circulated as urban legends. Number 1, the body under the bed.
Oh no.
You'll see pictures. Yes, I'm going to show her pictures. Now, this has passed around since about 1991. The first urban legend can be described as vacationers booking a nice, relaxing getaway at a hotel to get away from it all. They finally settle in, start to drift into slumber, but then can't because there is an awful stench permeating from under the bed or inside the mattress. Upon further inspection, the vacationers find a dead body.
No.
The origin is believed to take place in Las Vegas, but the first reports actually date back prior to 1991. Now, I thought maybe this has happened once or twice. It's happened multiple accounts throughout the years. I'm going to bring you a few of these tales.
Okay, real quick. There's a movie that Allison Brie and her husband Dave Franco.
Yep.
They made. Have you seen this movie?
Yes. They're in a Airbnb.
Yeah, they're in an Airbnb.
Why is it spooky?
Yeah, and then there's cameras, and they think it's the guy who rented the Airbnb to them, but it wasn't him. Yeah,
we should have watched that one.
I know that's a good horror movie.
That's okay.
We'll watch that another time.
No, this one, the one we watched our movie review today, is going to be in
one
of my stories. Yeah.
Okay, and I have lots to say about that movie too because I saw the original when it came out in the movie theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
We digress. All right. So 1982. Yeah, I was born. Richard Kuklinski, Daniel Deppner, and Gary Smith were running a small auto theft scam ring.
Uh-oh.
One day, Kuklinski and Deppner decided to kill Smith.
What?
Yeah. They're like, let's off him. So they fed him a cyanide-laced hamburger in a North Bergen, New Jersey motel room.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, at least he got a nice burger out of the deal, but like, dude.
No, but seeing that the poison was taking forever, Kuklinski ended up strangling him.
Oh, no.
So there was no point to that. They stuffed his body under the bed and left.
Why?
Over the course of the next 4 days, guests rented that same room and all thought it smelled funny, but no one checked under the bed.
Oh, people always look under the bed. That's like one of the first things that I do.
First thing you do, right?
Oh, geez.
Then, next story. In 1987, an unidentified man decided to swallow 34 balloons of heroin in order to travel easier and undetected.
Oh, dude.
And guess what?
Smart man.
Yeah, the balloons burst and he died from a drug
No
overdose in
way.
his motel room in Rosedale, Maryland. Dumb ways to die.
So many dumb ways to die.
There you go. His partner traveling with him thought it would be smart to throw him under their motel bed and fled the scene.
Oh, they're both brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Soon, the room was rented to a family who complained about a gross odor, to which management found the body.
Okay, at least it was management and not like the
A random
kids
family.
in the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
In 1988, a body turned up in a box spring at the Oceanside Motel in Mineola, New York, discovered only after guests complained about the smell. At least 2 other guests unknowingly slept over the body before it was found.
Oh, no.
1989.
Oh. I don't want to stay in a hotel ever again.
Right? I'm sorry. I
Nicole,
probably
we
gave
are
you guys
checking
nightmares.
checking under beds.
We got to check everything.
in mattresses.
Now, 1989, killer Jerry Lee Dunbar stashed Deirdre Smith's body under the floor of a motel room on Route 1 in Virginia. He initially partially hid her body under his bed for 2 days, then later moved it to a crawl space under the carpeted floor. Good times. He then hid Marilyn Graham's body under a bed in the Alexandria Econo Lodge. Both the girls were found after guests complained about the stink. In August 1994, I know, I have
like
many.
my noises.
I love it. A German couple spent the night in a Fort Lauderdale, Florida hotel and the next morning complained about the smell in their room. Staff had already noticed the smell for days but never inspected that room until the couple complained. What the heck? Lo and behold, 47-year-old Brian Gregory was found tucked under a platform bed.
Oh, no. The staff is like, I ain't getting paid enough for this.
Right? You guys, it's just going to keep going. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Keep going.
July 1996. Several guests had complained about a foul odor coming from a room at the Colorado Boulevard Travelodge in Pasadena, California.
Oh, it's close.
The motel's staff inspected the room and found a woman's body under the mattress, and she had been there for 10 days.
Oh, dude.
How do staff
10
not
days?
see and smell that? 10 days.
10 days.
That's gross.
Do they have like tons of air fresheners that they're just throwing in there?
I
and they're
guess.
Like, oh,
I don't know.
man.
There's one I'll tell you about.
Okay.
July 10th, 1999. A different German couple. All these German
That's
couples.
good. It's a different
one. They checked into room 112 at the Burgundy Motor Inn in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Can you imagine if it was the same German couple? They're like,
That's
I'm
what they're
never
laughing
traveling to the United States ever again.
We have the worst luck. There's bodies everywhere. So gross. They complained to the manager about the smell in their room, and the management inspected it and discovered the rotting remains of 64-year-old Saul Hernandez. That was 1999.
Poor Saul. Better call Saul.
Better call Saul. Nope, can't. July 2003. A man had checked into the Capri Hotel located in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Upon arrival, he went back to the front desk and complained about a foul odor in his room. Again, they basically told him nothing could be done about it. The guy spent 3 nights in his room.
Oh, dude.
Then checked out earlier than his intended stay because he couldn't take the nasty smell anymore. When the cleaning staff came in July 13th to fix up the room, they lifted the mattress and sure enough found a man's body in an advanced stage of decomposition. Are we staying in a hotel?
I mean, imagine the lawsuits. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, you think this would be, even though it's morbid, a protocol at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Check under the beds. Like when you're cleaning.
When you've got to lift up the mattress.
If there's a foul smell, find it.
Right? Don't you change
Eradicate
if you're
it?
changing sheets, I guess they don't lift the whole mattress, but still you'd be kind of moving them and be like, why is this heavy? Or
yeah. I mean, most hotels have like a dust ruffle, so you don't.
True.
You know, but I don't know. I mean, when I was little, I traveled a lot, or a teenager, I traveled a lot because I played volleyball and we were traveling and I would forget stuff under the bed all the time. So it was always like, check under the bed, check under the bed, check under the bed. We always check under the bed.
And these people aren't.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. In 2010, James and Rhonda Sargent rented room 222 at the Budget Lodge. Once in the room, they reported to motel staff that the room was stanky and foul.
Stanky.
And burned incense, but that didn't help. Later, sergeants noticed someone else trying to mask the smell because there were fabric softener sheets stuffed in ceiling tiles and nooks.
Gosh.
Okay, so there you go. They
yeah,
were
trying
to hide
to
it.
mask it.
That's not going to help. The smell was, quote unquote, strongest when someone sat on the bed. But on their third day at the budget lodge, the sergeants insisted they be moved to another room. Then later, they moved to a different hotel, but returned to the budget lodge due to its affordability. They moved among 3 rooms when they returned and even spent one more night in room 222. The room was cleaned and rented out before police were able to investigate that specific room. So we're going to backtrack. January 2010. Sony Millbrook, Lakeith Moody, and their 5 children were staying in that same room. And on January 27th, Millbrook's family reported her missing when she didn't pick up her children from the school. Moody also up and left that same day. Suspicious. The police were told motel workers bagged up Millbrook's personal belongings and cleaned the room, and the workers said nothing appeared amiss. February 4th. The missing persons unit handed the case to homicide detectives and they visited the hotel, but only questioned motel employees never entering the room.
Oh my gosh. That is not doing your job.
Not doing the job. Sony Millbrook's body was found under the bed on March 15th.
Oh my goodness.
Moody was stopped, the husband or the dad, was stopped while driving Millbrook's car a few weeks after she vanished and was in detention on federal charges of being a felon in possession of a gun and then obviously charged with homicide.
Murder. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ah.
Last one. I got one more. So check out the photos.
Yes.
This is a very posh hotel in Tibet.
Oh, in Tibet? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Very
See,
fancy.
very pretty, right?
Yes. It looks like it should be in a movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So these photos are from the Guzhong Shuhua Inn in Lhasa, Tibet. A man who is only known as Mr. Zhang checked in and went to take a nap on April 21st, 2023.
Oh.
Hey,
this
guess
year,
what? That's
people?
this year. He took a relaxing 3-hour nap in his room, but once he woke up, he detected a foul odor and assumed it came from his feet.
Oh no.
He's like, my feet smell. He left the room, returned to change for dinner, but the stench was even more overpowering, so he requested another room, and then in that room, he took another nap. But then
he's sleepy.
He's tired. The hotel staff woke him up and asked him to return to his original room where the police were. They informed Mr. Zhang they had discovered a body under his bed.
Oh my gosh. He's like, I'm just trying to take a nap.
Yeah, I just want
to
sleep. They took a DNA sample as a precaution, but ruled him out right away since the body was there for longer than he checked in, and they already believed they had the suspect pinned on a train headed to Lanzhou City. Mr. Zhang left Tibet as soon as he helped the police with the investigation and reported to CNN News that he was still reeling in shock from the discovery and struggles to sleep ever since that day.
Mr. Zhang.
Yeah, he is quoted stating, I stay up until 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. every morning and the slightest movement would wake me up. It left me in a bad mental state.
Oh, buddy. Oh, I hope you get some sleep now.
Yeah, I hope so. Since April, for crying out loud.
Of this year.
This year.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go. That is not an urban legend. That is a factual event that has occurred
Moral
throughout
of the story.
years.
Check your mattresses. Check under your bed when you go to a hotel. Dude.
Please.
That's so crazy.
Okay. Urban legend number 2. Candyman.
Candyman. The Candyman can.
Oh. So the original movie Candyman, released in 1992, which Angela and I will talk about the new version, but she'll probably refer back to the old one.
I'll refer to the old one.
Yeah.
That scared me so much.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So this was based on the Clive Barker short story, and it was about a black artist murdered for having a relationship with a white woman back in the 1890s. Now, if you say his name 5 times in the mirror, he's not going to burst out and kill you, what I think in real life, right?
Right.
But the main concept of someone coming to kill you from your medicine cabinet is actually not an urban legend, but an actual event.
What?
So, this is insane. Back in 1987, an article written by Steve Bogira in the Chicago Reader discussed a disturbing event that took the life of Ruthie Mae McCoy. At the age of 52, McCoy lived alone in a high-rise building, one of 7 15-story brown Y-shaped towers named the Grace Abbott Homes. This was a part of the Chicago Housing Authority project, and in her building was the most dangerous.
Oh, no.
Yeah, murders happen daily in the area.
Oh, Ruthie Mae.
Yeah. Bogira wrote about how the building featured dark, malfunctioning elevators, pitch black stairwells, and cocaine and PCP addicts on every floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You had to look over your shoulder constantly, worried who was lurking in those dark corners. This did not help McCoy's already paranoid state of living, as she was a former patient of the psychiatric center at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She had already told another patient of the hospital that, quote unquote, someone has threatened my life. And the woman she was talking to urged McCoy to report it, but she didn't want to get anyone else involved.
Oh.
Yeah. So then in April, around 8:45 p.m., McCoy made a 911 call. She was quoted stating, "I'm a resident at 1440 West 13th Street, and some people next door are totally tearing this down, you know." The dispatcher, confused, asked her to repeat herself and asked, "They want to break in?" She responded, "Yeah, they throwed the cabinet down." The dispatcher asked, "From where?" And McCoy responded with, "I'm in the projects. I'm on the other side. You can reach my bathroom. They want to come through the bathroom." She was able to then, give her name and address again, but the dispatcher reported that she had a quote unquote disturbance with a neighbor. So police took a little longer to get to her building.
Yeah.
While the police were on their way, 2 more 911 calls came in. One from a neighbor walking through the hallway and heard gunshots from her apartment, 1109.
Oh.
And the other, a neighbor in their apartment who heard gunshots and hollering from that same room. 2 more police were dispatched. Now, 4 officers show up to McCoy's door around 9:10 p.m. So that was, 25 minutes because math?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. And after pounding on the door and announcing their presence, there's silence. They then call the dispatcher to call McCoy, and they can hear the phone ringing and ringing. And they even state to the dispatcher that they think somebody may be holding somebody in there, but there's nothing. Okay. 2 more officers are at the bottom of the building and decide to go to the project office a block away to secure the key, the extra key. But strangely, the key didn't fit.
Oh, weird.
So we can't get in.
No.
Now, after this, the officers had no clue what to do.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. They talked to neighbors, but they didn't help much, as the apartment next to 1109 was vacant and the neighbors down the hall didn't see or hear anything. So the neighbors that called, they just didn't know they weren't around.
Right.
They decided to contact the project office once more for another way in, but the janitor said there were no other keys.
What about kick the stupid door down?
I'm going to talk about that soon. So what did they do, though? They left.
Gosh.
Then,
kick the door down, dudes.
Well, guess that's a good answer, but I'll tell you why. The next evening, a neighbor, Deborah Lassie, on the 11th floor as well, called police because normally McCoy stopped by her apartment on her way out of the building every morning as well as the afternoon, but there was no sight of her. So roughly 6 police officers and 4 to 5 CHA security guards swing by, and the same thing happens. They knock on McCoy's door, no answer. Police are now thinking of breaking the door down.
Okay,
but
we're getting somewhere.
Yes. The security guards tell them no, because this could cause the tenant to sue them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she can't sue you. She's dead, dude.
Exactly. What the heck?
Oh my gosh.
So they up and leave again.
Dude.
Again. Now the next day, Lassie decides to call the project office instead of the police and voices her concerns to them. At 1 p.m., a project official went to 1109 with a carpenter, and they drilled through the lock. Why didn't they do that, right away?
I hate these people so much.
It's sad. When they finally entered the apartment, what they saw was shocking. McCoy was in her bedroom, lying on her side in a pool of blood, hand over her chest, one shoe on and one off. Papers, magazines, and coins were strewn around her on the floor. When police returned later and turned her, the faint smell of rotting flesh rose through the apartment. She had been shot 4 times.
Oh, Ruthie Mae.
Ruthie. As I mentioned, murder was not new to the projects here, but what made this case so spooky was that detectives later determined that the killers entered her apartment through her medicine cabinet.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick.
Yes.
I know you have more of the story. Have you seen the TikTok video of the girl who's in the apartment?
You're ruining.
Am I ruining something? Okay, I'll stop right now.
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop right now.
Because that's a part of another urban legend.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that soon.
But it's the same thing.
It's very similar.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
You're good. They had gone through the vacant apartment, removed the cabinet there, and broke through McCoy's cabinet, climbed through the wall into her apartment, and shot her. What's even more disturbing than that is that in this building, the Abbott building, intruders were breaking into apartments through medicine cabinets for at least a year.
Dude, really?
As it was an easy escape route if police or security were to enter one of the apartments.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And sadly, the adjacent vacant apartment was not even locked as it lacked a doorknob.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. With McCoy's apartment being at the end of the floor, she was an easy target.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I want to end on a note that even if you feel like you live in a safe area, beware. This year, a TikTok video went viral from NYC. This is a different one.
Okay.
There's so many TikTok videos.
Okay.
I will get to yours.
Okay.
Renter Samantha Harso stated she felt a cool breeze coming from her bathroom mirror and thought it was odd. So she ended up taking down the mirror to investigate the mysterious draft, and lo and behold, found a gaping hole leading into a strange empty room.
Uh-huh.
She released 4 videos as she donned a face mask and headlamp to investigate the room. She found it was a deserted adjacent apartment.
Dude. Yeah, see?
Spooky.
Yes, I saw. I think that's the TikTok that I was talking about.
Oh,
but
was
yeah.
it?
Well,
There's
I don't know.
one.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I know
there's
you're
another
talking
one.
about. Yeah. I'll
So
talk about
yeah, but I definitely there was a girl who was like, there's a breeze coming through my medicine cabinet, and took it off, and then you could go into the
spooky
apartment.
room.
Yeah.
So be cautious of if you're living in an apartment, but even a house.
Look behind your medicine cabinets.
There was also the movie Barbarian that we watched. That's not very good. Sorry. That recently was released. It's got what's his name?
Justin Long.
Yes.
Where
it's an Airbnb and it's got some crazy things at the bottom. You have to.
Ooh.
You might want to watch it, but it's not
Okay.
great. But anyway, so. Urban legend number 2, Candyman. Okay.
Candyman. Yeah, in the new movie that we're going to talk about, it was Chicago
Yes,
projects.
the project's
yeah.
the same. Yeah.
So they pulled that from that.
Yeah. It's a very similar.
Yeah.
All right. Urban legend number 3, kidney theft.
Oh, yeah.
We all heard this
story,
one.
Yeah.
So this legend has been turned into horror stories throughout the years, but the gist is that unsuspecting tourists are drugged. Upon waking, they are in a bathtub full of ice, and a note is left stating, if you want to live, go to the hospital immediately. The tourist looks down and notices they have been carved and their organs, usually kidneys, are removed. It's definitely a scary situation that you think could never happen, right?
No.
Well, in 2008, Mohammed Salim Khan, 33 years old, aroused and found himself in an unfamiliar house with a stranger in front of him wearing a surgical mask and gloves. Khan was able to speak and asked, "What's happened to me?" And the man standing in front of him said, "Your kidney has been removed."
Oh my God.
Now let's go back. We're going to rewind that.
Oh no.
Khan was one of 3 men who gathered at a central gathering spot where they looked for manual labor. Here, someone had approached the 3 men on different days over 2 weeks. The other 2 were Shakil Ahmed, 28, and Naseem Mohammed, 25, and this is in India.
Okay.
The men were offered to work for 150 rupees a day, roughly $4.
Oh no.
$4. They were all taken to a house at different times, and this house had a hidden state-of-the-art operating room. They
what?
Yeah, they were held at gunpoint where tests were administered, most likely to determine their blood type. Then the 3 men were given shots that made them pass out. When they all awoke, they were in excruciating pain and had scars that wrapped around their waists.
Oh my gosh.
The man that Khan originally spoke to also said while he was waking up, "If you tell anybody that your kidney has been removed at this very place, or if you tell anybody that your kidney has been removed at all, there is a man who is following you who will shoot you."
Oh my gosh.
Now, thankfully, a few hours after Khan spoke to the stranger, the police raided the home to find the 3 victims as well as 2 other men that were to also undergo kidney removal.
Oh.
Yeah, Khan mentioned that right before the police came, 2 servants helped him dress, told him the police were on their way, and they fled. So they were like,
yeah, the servants were
we don't want to have any part of this.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. The 3 victims were brought to the hospital immediately where they underwent medical testing, and the MRIs all concluded their kidneys were removed with the precision of a professional operating surgeon. So they weren't just roughly pulled, thankfully. Police also raided a nearby home where an American couple were staying. They needed a kidney transplant and were victims of the ring in which they thought they could travel to India to receive the kidney transplant quicker than waiting in the U.S.
No, people.
Right?
Don't shortcuts, man.
No shortcuts. You got to wait. Sorry. The police, I always think if it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
there you go. The police traced the scam to Dr. Amit Kumar, or Dr. Santosh Raut, who had been in the illegal kidney racket since 1993.
Dude.
He was arrested a few times, but then still continued his illegal trade of organs. Police believed more than 600 people have had their organs removed by this doctor. And
oh my God.
does not have a license to perform surgery.
No.
600. Thankfully, in 2017, Dr. Amit Kumar and his brother, Jivan Kumar, another doctor, quote unquote, were arrested as they were preparing to escape to Nepal. I had to search this. At first, I was like, oh my God, he's still on the loose. But no, thankfully.
No, they have him.
He was caught.
Oh my gosh.
But isn't that scary?
That's so scary. Oh, dude.
Kidneys.
Oh, no.
I don't like it.
No.
Which is funny. I just watched a Simpsons episode.
I'd be like, dude, you're wasting your time. I get kidney stones. You don't want these. Stop it.
These are bad ones.
Yeah.
I was saying I just watched a Simpsons episode where his dad had his kidneys burst because Homer wouldn't stop to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And then he had to donate his kidney. He didn't want to, kept running.
Homer.
That's a good episode.
That's a good one.
Anyway.
Oh, The Simpsons.
And back to urban legend. Urban legend number 4. This is where I think you're talking about your TikTok video. The killer in the walls.
Oh,
so this urban legend definitely spooked me out, and the true stories are even more terrifying.
No.
Yeah. This legend typically starts with a family that moves into some remote home or even apartment building. When they start to find misplaced objects and strange noises, they brush it off as someone else in the family causing the odd disturbances. But then a neighbor finds the family brutally murdered inside their home with no signs of intrusion. Later, they find that the killer had been hiding inside the walls of their home the entire time.
Dude, no. That's terrible.
So sadly, the truth of the story actually dates to 1941 with plenty other chilling stories of people hiding in homes. Thankfully, almost all of these don't end up dead except this first one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Theodore Konies, born November 10th, 1882 in Petersburg, Illinois. He had a rough start to life. He wasn't the healthiest kid and was even told by doctors that he probably wouldn't make it to his 18th birthday. So he didn't finish high school.
Yeah, he's like, what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
He had a job here and there, but then spent most of his life homeless.
Oh, buddy.
In September of 1941, at the age of 59, Konies was in Denver, Colorado, where
he's 59.
Yep.
So he's lived at least 40 years past the doctor's like, you aren't going to make it past 18.
They didn't have the greatest doctors back then.
Dude, doctors, don't put expirations on people's lives like
obviously,
that.
because then it shows that he's homeless. He didn't know what to do with his life, right?
Imagine what he could have been if he would have not had hope lost for him.
Yeah.
So. Oh, man.
So he was in Denver when he wanted to ask for help from a former acquaintance of his, Philip Peters. He showed up to his home at 3335 West Moncrief Place and found he wasn't there. So he ended up breaking into the home to steal food and money. When he
Wise decisions.
Yeah, right. When he found a small trap door that led to a narrow attic cubbyhole, he thought, why steal and run when I can have a place to call his home, right? So he shimmied his way into this trap door.
Dude.
He went undetected for 5 weeks.
Dude.
Now, Peters was blissfully unaware of someone living in his home with him, and his wife was in the hospital recuperating from her broken hip, so she wasn't even in this picture at all because she was laid up for a while. October 17th, 1941. Most likely in the middle of the night, Peters stumbled upon conies in his refrigerator. Peters, being 73 years old, was carrying a cane and in his quick reaction tried to hit Conies with the cane, but he didn't realize Conies was carrying an old pistol he found in the house. Guessing it didn't have any bullets because Conies retaliated by clubbing Peters with the pistol over the head, which caused the gun to break. So then Conies sees and grabs a heavy iron stone shaker and continuously beats Peters with it, killing him.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this man, I'm so upset. His initial thought is, hey, I'm going to go to Denver and ask my friend who I'm currently murdering
for money,
for help. Yep. And then he just starts stealing from his friend.
Yep.
And then he starts murdering
and
his
then he
friend.
murders his friend.
Dude, his choices. He should have finished high school because,
there you go. He didn't, though. Dude. Well, once he finished with the murder, Conies crawled back into the attic cubbyhole.
Why?
He's like, cool, I got
Nobody's
this.
in the house
Nobody,
now.
Yep.
It's all for you.
Well, that same day, Peters was supposed to have dinner with a neighbor, but when he didn't show, the neighbor grew worried and called the police. Upon arrival, police noticed there was no sign of forced entry. All the windows and doors were locked. They were able to get in and found Peters' dead body, looked around. Nothing seemed out of place, and they even noted the small trap door, but they thought no normal-sized person could fit it, so they dismissed it.
Oh,
and
no
the case,
way, man.
Yeah,
you check everything.
You got to. The case remained open. Later, upon Peters' wife's return, her and her housekeeper would often hear strange sounds in the house. Soon the housekeeper quit thinking the house was haunted.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Peters followed suit and moved to Western Colorado to live with her son. The next door neighbor, Mabel Burke, and her children would constantly see the lights turning on and off in the Peters' vacant home. Mabel got so spooked she walked over with her baseball bat and knocked on the door, but no one answered.
Of course, yeah.
Even police made routine checks on the house. But then, July 30th, 1942, the police were over checking on the old Peters home when they heard a lock click on the second floor.
Uh-oh.
The police rushed up the stairs, and once they reached the second floor, they caught a glimpse of legs going through the trap door. They were able to grab a hold of Conies and pull him down. They took him into custody, where he confessed to Philip Peters' murder.
Oh my gosh. He was there for like almost a year, huh?
A very long
From
time.
41 to 42.
July.
Yeah.
So police detective Fred Zarno stated, a man would have to be a spider to stand it long up there. And local media ran with it, calling Conies the Denver Spider-Man of Moncrief Place. And Conies was sentenced to life.
Yeah. Well, he got all of his meals taken care of and the roof over his head. He didn't have to shimmy in a small corner anymore.
The worst way to do it, sure.
Dumb. Yeah. Oh, this poor man. I blame the doctors.
Blame the doctors. Now, this was not the only incident, as I mentioned earlier. In 1995, a woman came forth that she had moved to Enumclaw, Washington, which I know where this is,
Yay.
to be close to her brother. She was renting a small apartment, and on the first night, she heard footsteps above her.
Uh-oh.
Through the months, she started noticing her things disappear. Just small things, but like soda cans, food, etc. And then also took note that the doors were closed that she left open, or vice versa.
Huh.
So one day she decided to adopt a puppy, and she would keep her in the bathroom while she potty trained. One day she went out. She came back to find her apartment flooded, but the puppy was in the sink. There was no way she'd have climbed up to the sink because this was a super tiny puppy. She was thankful, but thought someone had to have put her there to save her.
It's like, okay, my apartment's flooded. Sure.
Yeah,
but like
my
the
puppy's in a
puppy
sink.
and somebody did this. That's just a wild train of thought to
right?
like go through.
Yeah.
That's
so much
insane.
to take in, right?
Oh my gosh.
So then the woman kept hearing footsteps above her to the point she asked her landlady if somebody was living in the attic. The landlady quickly said no, it had to be a squirrel or raccoons. Hate that.
No, it's just your imagination.
They're just little tiny things. It's okay. Now, one day, the woman calls in sick to work, and she watched TV in her living room all day. At 11 p.m., she claimed that she got up to take a bath and lit a candle. And as she was laying there, she could see her attic hatch was open. She put the puzzle together right then and there.
Uh-huh.
So one of the first thoughts she had was if they wanted her dead, she would have already been, since she was living there for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So she's like, okay, so not going to harm her.
Right.
Maybe. But she slowly and carefully left her home, called her sister-in-law, and told her, I think there's somebody in my house. And the sister-in-law, told her she was on her way with the cops. They never found anyone, but they did find what they called a nest of stuff in the attic, a sleeping bag, some food, and a book. Next day, she moved out, and to her knowledge, the squatter was never caught.
Dude, that's scary. That's creepy. That's creepy.
Thanks, landlady.
Yeah. No, nobody's there.
We're not going to inspect it.
Probably like,
it's your imagination.
No, the landlady probably fully well knew that somebody was living there.
Probably.
It's probably somebody that she knew that just like she stashed in there or something.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's creepy. It's part of her.
Well, if she's a landlady, though, she would want rent for that. I don't think she'd let anybody live there for free.
I think she just didn't want to put any work into that.
Yeah, she didn't want to get sued.
There you go.
That there was an intruder living in there. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then I see you have more to this story. So
there's more stories.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of one right now, and I'm not going to tell it until you finish all your stories.
Thank you.
Because I don't know if you have it on there.
I may or may not.
I know.
Okay. Well, yeah, you save it.
Okay, remind me.
Next, in 2021, a single mother and her kids were living in South Carolina when she started hearing noises. She said, I kept hearing a bumping, thumping noise. It was either something or somebody in the attic. But her kids thought she was getting old and just hearing things. Thanks, kids. No. Then one night while on her computer, she heard something above her, then strangely saw nails pop out of the bedroom ceiling.
Oh, no.
That same night, she didn't do anything. That same night at 2:30 a.m. while fast asleep, she was shocked awake by banging in the ceiling. So that was her last straw. She calls her nephew to come over and investigate for her. And when he climbed into the attic, he saw a strange man standing there, which turned out to be Tracy's ex-boyfriend from 12 years earlier.
What?
They called the police, but he just smiled and walked away before they could obtain him. He had been watching Tracy from a crack in the air vent and looked like he'd been there for at least a few weeks.
Creepy. Oh my gosh. That is so creepy. Could you imagine an ex just
standing there?
No, just standing there like, hi.
Yeah. Watching her sleep.
Watching you for a while. That's so creepy.
No, not cool.
No. You're an ex for a reason. Leave me alone. Get out of my life. Ew, no. Ew.
Yeah,
ew.
not cool.
That's so creepy.
I know. Okay, lastly, this is what I was going to refer to. Back in 2009, Joe Cummings was living in a small apartment in Manhattan, New York, and noticed that someone was peeing in his kitchen sink and stealing his food.
I think this is the one that, I think this is it. I'm
going to show you a video.
Yes, I think this is it. Okay, keep going.
So he set up a video camera, and lo and behold, a lady was living in a high cupboard area, and yes, peeing in his sink and eating his food and watching his TV. Joe called the cops and the woman was arrested. She was living in his cupboard for 2 weeks and they think she climbed in through the window since it has a fire escape because yes, Joe lived on the top floor.
Oh my god.
And maybe she was going to rob him but decided to stay a while. The video had made a resurgence over the past few years. I'm going to show Angela the video and I'm sure you've seen this.
I think this is the one that I was thinking of. It's like above his door. Yes.
People were like, "Oh, is this a hoax?" And I was like, "No, this can't be a hoax."
Yeah, she's up above the door.
Yeah. This tiny little cupboard for 2 weeks. That's spooky, and she just
That's not my girlfriend. I remember that.
Yep. She climbs down slowly
because she doesn't want to wake anybody up.
Pissing in my sink, and then he fast forwarded it, and then now she's eating. Look, that's so gross.
Yeah, she's just drinking his milk or juice or whatever, eating whatever is in his thing.
And then she sits down and watches TV. So
it's so weird, dude.
not cool.
Oh, just like the balls that this person has to just live in somebody else's house like that
and not be afraid to get caught.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
It's so creepy.
Especially peeing in your sink. Anyway,
that is the balls you have to have. This is
gross. It's spooky.
Insane.
So lock your doors. Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
But yeah, check under your bed.
Check
all the cupboards.
You have a checklist
spaces.
now, guys.
Yeah, you got to check your attics. Check your crawl spaces.
You hear noises. Don't brush them off.
Yeah, it's not a raccoon. It is a person.
If it sounds like a person, it probably is a person. Yeah.
If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck. Oh,
all right. This last one is insane.
Okay.
It's very long, so I'll try to get through it. But okay. Urban legend number 5. The escaped mental patient who snatches your children.
No, I don't like this one. Oh, no.
Our last urban legend for this episode. It's a common urban legend amongst heavily forested areas where you hear a mentally deranged person somehow escapes their mental institution, hides in the woods, and kidnaps children who wander off from their families. This urban legend originated in the 1970s in Staten Island, New York. The legend was about Cropsy. If you've heard Cropsy, have you heard that name?
No.
Cropsy, the boogeyman who possibly wielded an axe, kidnapped unsuspecting children, bringing them back to his lair and disemboweling them.
Oh, no. No.
Truth. Cropsy is based on a real suspected serial killer named Andre Rand, born Frank Rostam Rushan, 1944. But between 1966 and 1968, Andre changed his name to Frank Bouchette and worked at the Willowbrook State School as a custodian, orderly, and physical therapy aide. Now, Willowbrook later changed to Staten Island Development Center. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
May 5th, 1969, Rand was arrested in the South Bronx area for kidnapping and attempted rape of a 9-year-old girl.
Oh my gosh, how disgusting. I hate that so much.
He enticed the little girl into his car and drove to a vacant lot where he got as far as taking her clothes off and his before miraculously a police car drove by and stopped. He was sentenced for 4 years, but only served 16 months and paroled in 1972. What the heck, everybody? That is when he changed his name to Andre Rand. And what came next is a doozy, but note, all cases I'm about to discuss to this day remain unsolved.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. These are all about Rand's alleged victims. This is him.
I hate him.
Yes, this is going to be brutal. So yeah, trigger warning. This is all pretty creepy. July 7th, 1972, Alice Pereira, 5 years old, vanished from her apartment building in Staten Island. She was playing with her brother in the building's lobby, and he left her alone for a quick minute. When he returned, Alice was gone. There was speculation that she was seen in a park close to the apartment complex afterwards, but that was it. Rand was a suspected abductor as he was hired as a painter in her apartment building at the time of Alice's disappearance.
Oh, man.
The next 3 cases, again, are not officially connected to Rand, but you'll hear why they're linked. Audrey Lynn Narenberg, 18 years old, visited Staten Island with her family on July 4th, 1977 to watch a movie.
Good year.
Yeah. And the theater was adjacent to a campsite that Rand had previously visited. The next day, she was last seen leaving her family's home to buy cigarettes 2 blocks away. Narenberg suffered from schizophrenia, and due to this condition, she may have returned to Staten Island the next day because she would repeat her actions. That's kind of part of what she did.
Okay.
She would just repeat. But she was never seen again after leaving her home July 5th.
Oh, man.
October 24th, 1978, Ethel Lewis Atwell, 42 years old, was a physical therapy assistant at the former Willowbrook State School and arrived at work around 6 a.m. But then 2 female employees inside the building could hear a male voice outside say, "Come on, come on." But then Atwell yelled, "No, you'll beat..." I don't know if I wrote that right. "No, you'll beat me," I'm guessing, and screamed. After they heard this, they called the police. Since it was still dark with no street lights, they couldn't see anything. But when the police arrived, they found Atwell's tan pocketbook, 1 earring, 1 black shoe, 3 black coat buttons and part of her set of dentures
Oh my
along the
gosh.
side of her locked car. 75 feet away in the woods were Atwell's keys.
Oh my gosh.
In the same year, 44-year-old Shin Lee went missing, a nurse who worked at Willowbrook as well. Last time she was seen was walking home from the building to her house close to midnight. She was found strangled to death and buried in a shallow grave near the school on August 6th. As mentioned earlier, since there was no concrete evidence to link these victims to Rand, police could not arrest him, but they believed they were his victims due to close proximity of his camps and previous work site.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Oh.
July
gosh.
15th, 1981, 7-year-old Holly Ann Hughes was last seen on Staten Island. Her mother sent her to the Port Richmond Deli only 2 blocks away to purchase a bar of Ivory soap. Very specific.
Yeah.
And she was seen purchasing the soap around 9:30 p.m., but she never returned home. Holly Cedarholm, Holly's mother, I've said that wrong. Oh, yeah, they're both the same name. Holly Cedarholm, Holly's mother, received a phone call a month later from someone who called himself Sal. This is rough. He told her in order for Holly to return safely home, he wanted Cedarholm to engage in sex acts in front of a camera.
Oh my gosh.
So Cedarholm went straight to detectives with this info, thankfully, and they were waiting for Sal at the Penn station in NYC, but he never showed up. Cedarholm sadly didn't even think Sal had Holly and that she was already deceased.
Yeah.
Shortly after Holly vanished, police did question Rand and searched his car, but they did not prosecute him until 20 years later.
Oh my goodness.
Because Cedarholm claimed that Rand's voice was the same she heard during the extortion phone call. Also, witnesses came forward stating Rand's green Volkswagen was seen circling the business where Holly vanished in 1981. Rand was convicted of kidnapping Holly in October of 2004.
Oh my gosh.
So it took a long time. Then August 14th, 1983, 11-year-old Tiahis Jackson disappeared from the Mariners Harbor Hotel in Staten Island in the afternoon. This is only 12 days after Rand was released from prison for picking up 11 children from a Staten Island YMCA, where he purchased a meal for them and took them to the Newark Liberty International Airport, all without consent from their parents.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Okay. Yeah. And kids, do not go off with strangers.
Oh no, this was the 70s, so we weren't as on edge, you know.
Yeah.
But still. So he served 10 months for unlawful imprisonment for
just
this.
like 10 months.
Just 10 months.
Dude.
Because he didn't do anything to them.
Dude. Yeah, he kidnapped them.
Yeah.
Like,
that's gross.
Doing something.
Yeah. Now, Tiahis was sent to purchase chicken wings from the Crown supermarket by another resident of the hotel. Her mother and uncle were ruled out as suspects as they both passed lie detector tests. Andre Rand had a campsite at the Baron Hirsch Cemetery that was less than half a mile from the hotel. And Tiahis's mother said she had seen a man matching Rand's description loitering in the parking lot. No charges were filed. June 9th, 1984, 22-year-old Hank Gafforio was last seen at the Spa Lounge in the Port Richmond neighborhood around 4 a.m. He went out drinking and was spotted at the Spa Lounge diner with Andre Rand. He disappeared
No. Don't do that,
without
dude.
a trace, and his body was never found. July 7th, 1987, 12-year-old Jennifer Schwieger, born with Down syndrome, was reported missing. She was last spotted walking with Rand.
Oh, no.
35 days after her disappearance, a retired NYC firefighter searched an area around the Willowbrook State School and found a particular spot that caught his eye. He returned with the police, and her body was unearthed from a shallow grave. As the police searched the grounds for evidence, they found one of Rand's makeshift campsites in proximity to Schwieger's grave.
Yeah. I bet if they dug around there, they'd find a lot more graves.
They did. They
seems
tried,
like
yeah.
that's where he's taken the bodies.
In 1988, Rand was charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder of Schwieger. The jury couldn't reach a verdict on the murder charge because there wasn't enough evidence, but they convicted Rand of the first-degree kidnapping charge, and he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. He was eligible for parole in 2008 if not convicted of that second kidnapping of Holly Ann Hughes in 2004. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Officers and inmates at the prison where Rand is currently incarcerated testified regarding conversations in which he allegedly bragged about his pedophiliac exploits, even confessing to Holly's murder to an inmate. And in the documentary Cropsy, detectives speculated that Rand may have been involved in Satanism and provided the children to be sacrificed and not working alone.
Oh, no.
Rand is still in prison and will become eligible for parole in 2037, where he will be 93 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's the last urban legend. I saved this one for last because I know it was going to be exhausting.
My heart.
Right?
Oh, I hate that so much.
But isn't it crazy that urban legend was going around back then, but it was based on the fact that this guy was out there. He is a literal boogeyman and creepy guy.
Like stealing children and sacrificing them. I mean, that goes along with that, the one movie that we watched. So descriptive with Ethan Hawke, and he's the writer and the boogeyman thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that movie was called.
I always forget what that movie is called.
Yeah, because we didn't like it. Sinister. Yeah. Oh, I hate it so much. Isn't
it sad though, the fact that they didn't have any concrete evidence to basically lock him up for murder? I
feel like they weren't looking hard enough.
Yeah. But if he was working with other people, because that is the theory, they would have been able to probably move the bodies. So
whatever. I hate it so much. I hate it. I don't like when things happen to kids.
Right?
I don't like it. I'm like, Nicole can attest to my posture right now. I'm like as scrunched up as I can.
It's that fetal position,
myself.
Because that's what we do when we get we want to get comfortable. We do the fetal position. So she's almost there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my heart.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
Yeah, we got some true crime in there.
Dude. That was
urban legends, and there's so many more. These were the ones I handpicked because they were a little bit more morbid. Mm-hmm. But there's ones out there that were like rats in the toilet and crocodiles in the sewer, and those turned out, things like that.
Yeah,
and those were lighthearted. But these ones were like the ones where you're like,
they're gut wrenching, man. Yeah, cringy, gut wrenching, and so the moral of the story:
check everything. Yeah,
don't
what'd you
get
learn
in
today?
cars with strangers.
Yes.
Stay away from old men, children. Oh my gosh.
Stay away from strangers. Check your house.
Check your house. Check your attic. Check your crawl spaces. Check under your bed.
Yeah, lock your doors.
Well, lock your doors, but it doesn't matter. If you have medicine cabinets, look in those.
Oh, yeah. Make sure there's no empty rooms or like crawl spaces.
If you feel a draft coming through your walls, check it.
Check it. See what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Look under your bed.
Just become like paranoid. That's what I feel like this is doing to me. I'm paranoid. I'm like, we live on in a couple acres in a gated, we have gates on our property. Everything's fenced and everything's gated, but still we're like, lock all the doors, shut everything in at night. We get very cautious about that here too.
Yep.
And oh my gosh,
in my neighborhood too, it's got a gate, quote unquote. I mean, anybody can really get in.
Yeah,
but
gated neighborhoods aren't like really gated neighborhoods.
No. And at first, when we first moved in, it was so quiet that it scared us that we couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it's too quiet.
Yeah, too quiet.
You need the city noise. Yeah, I get it.
We got used to it, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, our houses are just so flimsy that I'm sure somebody could just like kick down a door. You're okay. So I was like, great. But anyway, so urban legends.
Become paranoid with us, people.
Yep.
If you have an urban legend story of your own that you would like to share with us, you can always email us at theominousstitch@gmail.com. If you want to see show notes on this episode or any previous episode, you can hop over to podbean.com. That is the website that we host our little podcast on. get any show notes, listen to any episodes that you want to re-listen to or that you missed in the past. There's also a little button in the upper right-hand corner you can click that says Become a Patron. If you join our little patron army, we will give you shout-outs. We will send you stuff. We will give you patron episodes. You get your hands on exclusive content just to the patrons because we love them so much. You guys help us keep this podcast going, and we want to keep doing this for you guys because we enjoy building our community. So reach out to us. You can go on any of our social media platforms, mostly Instagram, sometimes Facebook. We lurk on TikTok. But if you contact us, we do reach out to you because we love talking to you guys. So reach out to us today. Just say hi. We want to talk to you.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. I speak 6 languages. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm exhausted, but we still have one more thing to do. I feel like that's my MO at the end of each of these. I'm like, I'm exhausted because we go through such a ride.
So much,
but it's like,
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's so much fun
amazing.
Too. All right.
Okay. So, did you hear my little amazing I snuck in there, guys?
Ooh, take a stitch.
It's time for the Candyman.
Movie time.
Movie time.
As we mentioned, this week's movie review is Candyman, the 2021 version. IMDb rating of 5.9 stars. And the synopsis, a sequel to the horror film Candyman 1992 that returns to the now gentrified Chicago neighborhood where the legend began.
Dun, dun, dun.
Guess who worked on this movie?
Who worked on this movie?
My
Nicole?
hubs worked on this movie. He's like, I worked on it, right? I was like, I don't know. And he brought it up, like, look. I'm like, okay, cool. Good job. 2021. And this movie was only an hour and a half. I mentioned that to Angela. I was like, wow, this movie moved fast. I thought it moved
the pacing
nicely.
of it was good. Yeah.
Like it didn't have to linger. It didn't linger on anything. It just like next. And we're like, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't seen the original, Angela, what's the original like?
So I haven't seen the original since 1992, and
wow.
I saw it.
Okay.
But it like moments of it are so ingrained in my brain. Whenever
Right?
I see the actor who played Candyman,
Such a good actor.
I'm like, no, 'cause
He's so good.
He's the Candyman.
He's the Candyman.
He's so scary. And like, there's visions of when the bees are coming out of his mouth
that's
that
right.
stays
They
with
came
you.
out, yeah. But they touch up. So if you haven't seen the original, they do touch, like, because this is a sequel, they say they touch up on the original in this movie, like really well. They kind of talk about it a little bit at the beginning, but then they dive into it later and the actual events of what happened later.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it. I like this movie. My husband was like, I didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was, you know?
I like the artistic style of it. I love the shadow puppets.
That was amazing.
So cool.
Right there and then you could have made a whole movie with that and I would have been so enchanted with it.
Yeah, the storytelling with the shadow puppets was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it.
They did a great job.
And it was interesting how they tied it back to the original and they kept the real story of the Candyman really alive in this because he is, you know, it comes full circle.
Yes.
That's the point, is that
it's embodied.
It comes
throughout time.
Yeah. The Candyman keeps replacing himself.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
No, it's so cool in the way that, I mean, this part of the whole artist, like struggling artist, that was a little over the top for me because he just gets so involved in it and he's just like, yeah, I'm the artist. And then he's like, oh, wait, no, I don't want to be the artist because he realizes what it's about.
Yeah. At first he's like, it's about fame. So my name is getting out there. Say my name.
Yes.
And my name is getting out there. And that was the whole thing of the piece that he created on the Candyman. But, you know, now he's like, oh, wait.
No, never mind.
Never mind.
And then the murder parts of it, the spooky like killings of it, I thought they actually did really well because One of the scenes I liked the most was when it's the high school girl.
Oh yeah.
In the bathroom.
The girls in the bathroom.
Yeah. And that's been done so many times, but the way they filmed it, they weren't very graphic about it, but you knew what was happening.
You knew what was happening.
There was blood, but
there was blood, and that's pretty much like what you saw was blood. But then they also had a little compact mirror. That was cool.
Yes, I like that use. And the small.
Yeah, you could kind of see.
Seeing in mirrors, the bees coming in and out of the mirrors.
Oh, the bee tapping on the mirror, trying to get to the other side. Yeah.
I thought that was really clever. Reminded me of The Ring with the fly.
And she grabbed the fly up the screen. Yeah.
But there's a lot of good elements to it.
A lot of good elements. I like the artistic way that the story was told. When he got into the elevator that was all mirrored everywhere, I was
that
like,
scared me too. I was like, oh no.
Don't go in the elevator, man. Yeah.
That kind of reminded me of Insidious 5 again, with the claustrophobia when he's in the MRI.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't, it's the claustrophobia where you can't get out and you're stuck in something and something can happen at any point and you can't stop it. That's so spooky.
Yeah. Oh, but no, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a breath of fresh air based on last time's movie. It's like,
everything's a breath of fresh air
about.
Yay. To that movie. That's our baseline now. We got something like low to compare.
No, Frailty. Frailty is the lowest.
No!
Lowest low there ever was.
Still like that
Frailty.
movie.
-25.
No.
We're going to make a shirt. Frailty, -25.
Guess what the actors, it's his name in the movie. The main actor's name is, what's his name?
Anthony McCoy.
Ruthie
Mae McCoy.
Isn't that spooky? They tied it. And they even talked about it.
They did it on purpose.
That's true. They even talked about it in the movie, that the Ruthie McCoy.
Yeah,
but then they changed it into the Candyman.
Yeah.
Again, see, it's all based on that. It's so spooky. Anyway.
Yeah.
The acting itself, I was just looking at the actors on here. They did such a great job. It was really fun. The artists and the show. The first murders.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little over the top for me, but that was still pretty spooky with the mirrors and everything.
Yeah. And
the screen ripping.
Yeah. It was cool. It was really cool. I thought it was really artistically shot. So was the first Candyman.
Yes. No, I really like that one.
Those visions really stay with you.
Yeah. I almost made us watch that one, but you had to rent it.
Oh.
This one is free, everybody.
Free.
If you want to go on
Amazon.
If you have a Prime Video.
Yeah. Amazon Prime.
Yeah. But how many stitches would you give this?
Oh, Jordan Peele wrote it.
Oh, you didn't know that.
No. Yes. I'm looking at the notes. Okay. Makes so much sense.
Doesn't it?
He's so good at the horror genre.
I like him.
I like his movies so much. It makes sense that he wrote it. Okay. Well, he co-wrote it. There's other writers with it, but
no, I think it came a lot from him. But Stitches. How many would you give it?
Let's see. We'll give it. IMDb gave it a lower rating than I would.
Yeah, 5.9.
5.9. I would say it's maybe like a 6.8, 6.9, close to a 7, maybe a 7. We'll go 7.
I like your like there.
We'll go 7.
It's funny. I was thinking 6.5 to 7 too.
Yeah.
Because it's like I said, it's a good, I probably will see it again at some point. I've already watched it. I have so many horror movies on my list.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen this one before, so that was kind of fun to see it again, or see it for the first time.
Yeah.
But 6.5 to 7. There were some things that were not like a little miss here and there that would make me like a horror movie. It just moved. It did move fast.
Yeah, which was nice. It just kept its pace. You weren't bored.
No,
you were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the characters were interesting and the visuals were really cool.
Yeah. The end sequence, like you said, with the showing how all the different Candymen.
Yeah.
That was so neat. I like that most, like you said, mostly more than anything else.
Yeah. That was cool. And then I like the way it tied everything back.
Right.
That made it really interesting. So
it didn't like try to go off on its own or.
Yeah. No, it's all part of the same story and it makes sense the way they tie it together. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Yay. Well, I couldn't. Also, last thing, I don't think I could have crocheted too. I tried.
Oh, because there's so much visual interest and it moves fast. You don't have any of those slow scenes where you're just like, okay, dialogue, let's just crochet. No, there's always something interesting to look at. And
because he's an artist. So he's making
an
things
artist.
too.
He's making things.
Yep.
And a lot of things that will challenge you visually. Yeah. But I'm looking at, we have little trailers going on right now. And
you get distracted. I
get distracted by the little trailers.
Me too.
But just the shadow art is the coolest thing. It's my favorite. It's just so beautiful and brilliant. And it's really cool.
Loved it.
So yeah.
All right.
Great movie. Go watch it.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, go watch
Don't see
Candyman.
After Death, see Candyman.
Yes. Well, this was another amazing episode.
Amazing.
So much information. We are all a little bit more paranoid now. So thanks, Nicole.
Yay. That's my job.
So until next time, we will see you, Stitchers.
See you, Stitchers.